Here from Icons. It's been a while. COVID hit, rugby stopped, so did my videos. But it's good to be back. And I just want to touch base on a question that came up before COVID from one of my good friends. He put in a chatting about coaches and appointments. And this is kind of interesting. Like it's been a journey for myself, coming to a different country and getting put into a coaching system that you don't get to choose all your right staff. But I've learned a lot of valuable lessons, and probably the biggest lesson I've learned is to not judge, not let your personal opinion get in the way of attaining value. And it's a really interesting concept because in the coaching spectrum, leaders move forward and leaders grow and leaders develop, and people always want the head position, but not all leaders take on the head positions. And sometimes you've got to sit below before you can grow up. And it's a really interesting concept to, I guess, not judge other coaches by what they say and how they perform just in a technical manner, because every coach comes from an experience or a background where they offer some value. Now, an interesting thing that I've come to kind of realize around seeing everyone where they're at is the ability to take a person's value out of negative and positive manners. So I know in coaching spectrums, we always look at people as though, what do they offer? What are they bringing positively and everything like that? But when you're kind of in a coaching staff and a coaching team, sometimes people's negative opinions in your eyes can actually be the greatest lessons for yourself on the inside. So if you hear a coach speak and they say things that don't quite make sense to the players, instead of going, that coach can't talk to the players properly, your opportunity sits in, well, how do I communicate effectively enough so the players listen to what I'm saying? So it's kind of this beautiful thing that if there's a coach that you feel as though is in a position of, I guess, higher value or a higher merit system than you, and you're sitting underneath them, it's a great opportunity for you to learn, because your personal opinion about what they offer to that role, don't let it stop you from growing and learning from their either positive influences or their negatives. Now, a lot of coaches sometimes offer really great technical ability, and some coaches offer really great culture ability. And both are needed in a team to actually reach high success. Just as much as players need players who are the best players on the field, and then the job doers and the glue in the middle, coaching teams need the same. You need guys who, yes, they're effective at their job, but they also offer secondary skill sets. Secondary skill sets that might not measure on how is he good at scrums or how does he teach lineouts, but he actually gets the boys to perform. He actually gets the boys to gel harder in a group, or girls gel harder in a group. Sometimes coaches and management staff offer secondary skill sets. And as a coach leading a coaching team, I've learnt this massively over the last few months, to actually find out what my coaches bring to the table outside of their particular skill set, and how can I leverage their passions, wants and desires to actually grow them so that they give more value to the team. Because a skill set is just one part. There's many other different parts. So basically, to answer my mate's question about how do you deal with coaches who are in higher positions, or you're working with someone who you don't believe in, I guess it comes to how are you measuring that spectrum? How are you measuring their value? And sometimes their value is hidden. And guys are growing, and as people are growing, they develop and evolve in different areas. Everyone that I've met brings value in some concept. Now, sometimes those values are hidden in negative lessons of what not to do. So I really encourage coaches out there to basically meet people where they're at and find what value they can give. Now, like I'm saying, values aren't always a positive manner. You can receive value and growth through negative, or guess what you perceive as negative traits, through communication, how they do a drill. If you think someone's tackle technique isn't the best way of teaching it, then you can learn from that and use those metrics and those visual cues that you're seeing to make your game better, your ability to coach better, every opportunity is a learning opportunity. So guys, just a quick one from me today. It's all about meeting people where they're at and finding their value through learning from their positive influences and their negative influences. Because even myself, I've got a massive, I've got a whole bunch of positives, but I've also got the similar amount of size of negatives towards my coaching. And I encourage my coaching staff to learn from me on both sides of the spectrum. Everyone who knows me knows I can be very aggressive in my coaching manner because I expect a certain level of performance. And when it's not met, the emotion comes into it. But other coaches can learn from that. They don't have to copy my emotion and how I explode, but they can learn to go, okay, I can learn from that and not be like that because that doesn't suit my coaching. But they're still able to learn because they've seen the negative side. So yes, it has a negative input in some manners. This is how I deal with things and are constantly evolving this, but other coaches can also learn that's not the right thing to do. Let's go. Instead of them going down a 3 to 4 year path of having to do negative manners and all that. So guys, I really encourage all the coaches out there to be like that. Now, this also transitions to players because you're going to play with people who you necessarily don't get along with on a social level because you're two completely different people, but they bring certain aspects to the team that offer value and you can learn from that. People who are too quiet, you can learn from them being too quiet because I don't want to be like that guy, so I'm going to speak up. You learn the lessons through positive and negative influences. So guys, that's me. I'm Coach Curto. I'm out.